Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on Helluva Boss. And yesterday, episode 5 of Helluva Boss released, and oh my god, it was fucking awesome. It was honestly amazing. 100% my favorite episode so far. This episode had awesome scenes, awesome returning characters, and it was also the longest episode so far as well. The episode also had some brand new awesome characters such as Millie's family, her parents Lynn and Joe, and her transgender sister Sallie May. And of course, we also got a new antagonist, Striker. But before I actually give my thoughts on the episode, and aka simp for the episode, let's do a little recap of the entire episode. Episode 5 begins in Stolas' palace after Blitz and Stolas has had their monthly night of passionate fornication. Sadly, we didn't get to see the fornication on screen because obviously if it did, then YouTube would be like, fuck your monetization. Stolas needs his grimoire for the yearly Harvest Moon Festival, and Blitz really wants to know if he really does need it because he kinda got like 15 damn clients. Stolas mentions how much he really does need his book because he needs to like present at the Harvest Moon Festival, which takes place every year in the Ring of Wrath. To which Blitz responds that Millie and Moxie are actually from that ring. Stolas then invites Blitz and his employees to come down to the Harvest Moon Festival, and he also talks about how it's just like a nice little calm and fun time, where he says that he feels really safe there, which is funny because it foreshadows a future event of this episode. Blitz is convinced, says fuck his clients, and they're off to the Harvest Moon Festival. While Moxie's asleep, Blitz decides to give him a call. Blitz invites Moxie and Millie to the Harvest Moon Festival, to which, you know, Moxie's not too keen on it, but Millie's very enthusiastic about it. They pull up at Lynn and Joe's home, aka Millie's parents. We then get a wholesome scene where Millie reunites with her parents. Millie then introduces her parents to Moxie, and they aren't very fond of Moxie. Millie then introduces her parents to Blitz and Luna. Blitz has some conversation with Millie's parents, and Millie's parents seem to like Blitz. One reason is because of his name, Blitz, that reminds them of war. Yeah, it's worth knowing that Millie's parents are war geeks. Moxie, being a gun geek, rambles on about his extensive advanced knowledge on guns. Joe then calls in his newest farmhand, Striker. Here we are introduced to the character of Striker, who is later on in the episode revealed to be a huge antagonist. Oh, also did I mention that Striker has a horse? Yeah, basically asking for Blitz to simp for, and he immediately falls in love with it. Striker then meets Millie, who has heard some good things about Millie. Millie then introduces Striker to Blitz. Striker's quite impressed with Blitz because he managed to start his own business, which is something that imps rarely do. Joe then suggests that Striker and Blitz get involved in competing in some games at the festival. Millie complains about how she can't enter the games because, unlike Sallie May, she wasn't very good at hiding the bodies of those that she killed during the games. Lynn brings up that she still can, you know, come and watch and support Blitz. Moxie then butts in and is like, oh, well, Millie can always support me, but Joe thinks it's oh so laughable because he doesn't see Moxie as being strong. Moxie says that he's got some fat in him, and in response to this claim, Striker suggests that he goes and destroys a fucking hog for dinner. However, the thing is, he gotta use a rope and a knife, and he can't use his gun, which isn't very good, because a gun is like Moxie's biggest strength. Anywho, Moxie, being the chad that he is, goes in for the kill, gives it his best, but it doesn't really work out. Well, you see, this beast is one aggressive motherfucker and kinda kicks his ass pretty damn easy. Afterwards, Striker comes in and savagely beats the shit out of the fucking thing, stabs it right in the spot that it needs to be with a knife, and just fucking kills it. We then finally arrive at the Harvest Moon Festival, and guess who we see again? My boy Wally Wackford, he's back. We've seen him twice in the series so far, one time as a cameo in Lululand and also in the Cherub episode. So basically he does a little introduction and then hands it over to Stolas. Stolas just runs over general jazz and then announces all of the games. We then get a little compilation of several of the games in which they compete in, and a lot of wild shit happens, including Moxie losing and failing a lot and also getting tortured and abused, and also to the point where he's getting eaten by fucking sharks. Afterwards, we are then introduced to the winners of the Harvest Moon Festival, and that is Blitz and Striker. Afterwards, your man Striker, he's up on stage and he does himself a song. Because you're never gonna have a Helluva Boss episode without a song, right? Blitz then sits beside Moxie and Millie. He's like, oh man, look at this legend here. He's gonna be a nice addition to IMP. And Moxie's like, what the fuck? And yeah, Moxie, he's probably having the worst day of his life. So Millie's like, yeah, we should just go home. Moxie's wandering upstairs of the home and he goes into a room and he sees a quote-unquote genuine Carmine crafted blessing tipped rifle. He's in complete awe at the sight of it. Moxie then questions how Striker got possession of this dangerous item, to which Striker just pops out of nowhere and is like, oh, well, you should just ask me. Moxie is very concerned by his possession of this very rare and also dangerous item. This results in an epic scrap between Striker and Moxie, and oh my god, what a scene. There's a good few epic fight scenes in this episode. Now, obviously, Striker has the upper hand here and has an advantage over Moxie in this fight. Just when you may have thought that all was over for Moxie, Millie comes in to save the day and starts like savagely backstabbing fucking Striker. However, Striker is also able to overpower Millie, knocking her out, and he locks them both up in the basement. When in the basement, Millie suggests that Moxie should go up again and have another round with Striker, but instead of using his hands, she'd use what he's good at, that being his guns. Back at the Harvest Moon Festival, Stolas is able to summon the true Harvest Moon with the use of his grimoire. However, big twist, Striker is actually far out in the distance, and he is attempting to assassinate Stolas. Thankfully, Blitz is able to interrupt Striker before Stolas gets shot, and Blitz is disappointed in Striker for trying to off his only access to the living world. Striker attempts to manipulate and hypnotize Blitz by stating that they would make a duo of such strength that they will be able to even slay overlords. Blitz plays along with Striker until Moxie's able to get up behind him. Striker then again manipulates Blitz and makes him fire his gun at Moxie, but thankfully Moxie avoids. This results in again another action-packed epic fight scene, but instead of Moxie and Striker, it's Striker and Blitz. Striker is also able to overpower Blitz, so Blitz's next plan is to call Luna for backup. Although it doesn't immediately work, Blitz ain't done with Striker yet, and he gets up and has a round 2 with Striker. For this fight, Moxie's able to get a hold of Striker's rifle. Blitz and Moxie both corner Striker with weapons in hand, but before they do anything, Luna arrives. As soon as Luna enters, Striker, however, retreats. Mission failed, boys. Afterwards, we return to the farm where Moxie is able to get the littlest bit of respect from Millie's parents. About time, right? And now we enter the very end of the episode where we get the most shocking twist of the entire episode. So basically, Striker is talking to the person who hired him to kill Stolas. And guess who it is? It was frickin' Stella! Stella literally hired an assassin to kill her husband after he cheated on her. And finally, the episode ends with this beautiful animation. Alrighty, so now that I've explained the entire episode, let's talk a little bit about my thoughts on the episode. So as I previously said, this episode was probably my favorite episode yet, but I'm not entirely sure because it's hard to pick favorites. I especially love the brand new characters that were introduced into this episode. I really like Millie's family, but my favorite new character that was introduced has to, of course, be Striker. Striker is my favorite villain in this series so far, even overtaking RoboFizz. And the fact that Striker doesn't die after the first episode that he appears in makes him all the more special. His design is amazing and really fits the theme of the episode, his voice is perfect and fits the design of the character, and the song that he performs is also very good as well. And I also love the scenes that Striker appears in, most notably the fight scenes. I also love the fact that some previous characters made a return in this episode, such as Stella, Octavia, Wally Wackford, and of course Stolas too, because we haven't saw Stolas since episode 2 actually. Oh, and also, must I say, I fucking love the outfits that Blitz, Millie, Moxie, and Luna wear in this episode. They look cool. Oh, and something super cool in this episode that you may or may not have noticed, that above Millie and Moxie's house in this episode, there's a sign that says you can buy your own RoboFizz.